This is a layout I'm doing about when my kids dropped off a Thanksgiving box with their 4-H club, for their 4-H club, and I'm going to be using this crepe paper line called Style Board in the 6x6 along with that cardstock. Right now I'm pulling some templates that I got from Club Scrap that are alphabet templates, and I'm making a title. So I'm tracing it and then I cut it out, and it's sort of boring to watch that, so I really cut it out. But see there, it says give back, and you see that I've cut that out. I'm trimming up my photo and testing it out on the layout to see where I want to put it. Those are the papers I'm going to use. And I create a border at the bottom as the sketch calls for. That's what I'm doing there. I'm having to patch it together, obviously, because it's only a 6x6 pad, but I don't mind the seam. It's hardly noticeable once all the mixed media is done and everything. And I'm checking how the title is going to fit on there. And I decide to add another border above it with that red. So I'm cutting it in half so that I can create that border. And I'm going to offset where the two meet up so that it is obvious. I glued it together so the patterns would match. I'm gluing my craft panel on, and I'm going to start stamping. That's a Unity stamp. It comes from their Smack kit. All the stamps on this particular layout came from Unity Stamp Company. And that's Rusty Hinge. That's some Lumiere paint in the Halo Blue Gold color. I go ahead and glue my border down. I was going to do the stenciling, and then I decided I wanted it over that border. So I pull my stenciling paste and I mix in the Lumiere paint. And it looks really white and milky, but when it dries, it has a beautiful color. That stencil is from Club Scrap from a long time ago, as were the letter stencils. They're older stencils. I love my Club Scrap stencils. I have a lot of them. Then I'm just putting on flexible modeling paste through the stencil that has been mixed in with the Halo Blue Gold Lumiere. And what's amazing about it is when it dries, it's the same color intensity as it is in the jar. That was pretty incredible. So I decided to tear my border. I'm going to do a lot of old-fashioned techniques, scrapbooking techniques that people don't do as often anymore. And I put a dashed line of this washi tape down above the border. The sketch had that. I'm using a Unity stamp sketch that I found on their website. I'll put a link below to the sketch blog. Putting my borders down. And now I decided I wanted some more of that sort of mosaic-y background in the Rusty Hinge down below. So I do that. And now I'm going to put down my title. And I have this giant G, and then the give back is much smaller. The rest of the letters. This is a new webcam for me, and I see that I didn't put it back far enough so that you can see everything as well. So I'll adjust that. I'm just still learning with this new webcam, but it is much better resolution than the previous one. And I'm able to put it so that you can have my perspective on it as I scrapbook, which is neat. So now I'm layering my photo on the paper and trimming it out. And I'm adding more layers, just different pieces of paper, scraps. And that's the photo all layered up. And that's where I'm going to place it, just testing it. And then I decide I'm going to take and create shadows. And I've seen a lot of mixed media artists do this with Pitt pens, but I don't have a Pitt pen. But I do have a Tim Holtz watercolor distress marker, and that's what I use in the brush corduroy. And I basically just outline it, and then I just use the water to activate it, and it gives it kind of a soft shadow around the outside, around the title, around the photo. It's a really neat effect. I like it. So then I'm using the cut-aparts from the paper collection to create embellishments for my layout. I find 3 little tags. One says remember, one says love this, and one says wonderful. I found another little, or those are little arrows. I found another little tag and like a cork with a photo on it. Right there I'm doing my journaling on a tag I created with the pattern paper. I think journaling is super important to layouts. Of course, I'm an English teacher, but to me, journaling is essential. So then I'm layering my tag for the journaling. I'm going to put it there in that corner, and I'm going to go ahead and do the shadowing with the distress marker there. It came out so much better than I even expected. Yeah, it just was easy with the water brush and the distress marker. So now I'm working on gluing down my little elements that I cut out, the little pieces that I cut out of the cut apart sheet. Just thinking and gluing them down. I put a little pop dot because otherwise those little flags were hanging off the edge of that layered photo. And I decided to go ahead and put a shadow on the toward edge. So now I'm trying to fit that little tag in there to balance the embellishments on the photo. And I decided to put some fiber on there that I have in my stash. I love to use fibers and ribbons. I've got a lot of what some people might consider old-fashioned ways in my scrapbooking, but I'm not giving them up just because they're not fashionable right now. I like them. I like the texture. So I'm using my old gems, and yes, I've got my washi. I'm putting a little thing up there because that part of the layout felt a little naked to me. And I lined it up so the pattern was continuous. And then again, the cut apart sheet I used to create this little banner piece, but it seemed a little naked. That's a Unity stamp. I think it was last month's Kit of the Month. And I just stamped it with the rusty hinge and then just watercolored and activated the water. Just give them kind of a brownish yellow tinge. And I cut them out, fussy cut them. That's what I'm doing there, fussy cutting all those flowers out. I cut some leaves out of the pattern paper and now I'm adding my flowers. So then I add triple thick to the title. Triple thick is like glossy accents. And on some of the embellishments. And here's the close-ups of some photos at the end. I'm sorry about my voice, I've been sick. Thanks.